Hello, everyone. Nugai here with the next episode of Borderlands with Friends, and of course, my wife. Today, we don't have Raz. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but he's doing okay, and he'll join us next session. I'm hoping. But we've got Kras,
Yo,
and of course, my favorite, Neme.
So what are we gonna do today? Where did we leave off? I forgot.
We were in Concordia,
Hmm.
and I think we had to let's build a robot army. Yeah, we were gonna go build a robot army, so we need to go to Moxie's place. Kras, as usual, is looking through garbage, sifting through garbage.
hey, money lays in garbage in this game, alright?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sweet. I should probably go outside and do the same thing. Who knows what I'll find?
All right. Well, you guys look for money in the garbage. I'm gonna talk to Jack. All right, let's
Oh, there's a
see.
new grenade here. Fancy. Shatters enemy masks. Interesting. I just bought myself a new grenade.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, and there's a sniper too.
I think I've
Anyone
got
likes
a
snipers?
decent sniper, don't I? Ooh, I've got a purple sniper. Yeah, last session you guys opened a bunch of chests, didn't you? Or was it on an
One.
offline session?
You did Nemo, right? And you lost it.
Yeah, I lost it because we got disconnected, so I will never know what was in that. Ah, you had to remind me.
Guys, there's a chest here. Moxie's toy box. I'm afraid to open it.
Just like get some tissues or something first.
Kras, you open it.
Hang on one sec. Let me just change up a weapon.
I mean, toy box.
Is this gun any good? Let me just test it real quick. Ah, not that good. Whoops. So what are we opening? What are we doing? What am I doing?
Moxie's toy box. You need to open her toy box.
Moxie's
We don't want to
box.
touch it. Oh, grenade. Run.
Oh, fancy. Oh.
All right. Well, there's
Actually,
a.
that's not that good.
No, I don't want that. I mean, it can be solved.
Why is it so weak? Shouldn't we be getting stronger weapons in this? Let me test it.
Why are they named funny?
I want to test it.
What's your
Explosive-
weapon called?
Explosive kiss of death.
Oh, it's that lightning thing.
Ooh.
I hate this weapon. Do you want it, Emma?
No, sell it.
Because you have to aim.
I'm a sniper, so I'm good with aiming with my own weapon. I think sniping is my favorite thing to do. I wish I could try it in real life sometimes, but you know. Oh, not people. I mean like dummies or something, just for practice.
hmm There's a really good sniper rifle over here. Yeah, I've actually been thinking to go to like somewhere where you can learn to fire firearms in Australia, but just so we know how to do it, just so I know how to do it. But it's a little bit tricky here. We have very extensive gun laws and
Yeah,
it's
I
not
was
that
gonna
easy
say
to-
that too. In Europe, at least in my side, if you no longer have a license, I used to have a license. Um, if you no longer work in a service that would require having a gun license, you can't really go and shoot because you need a license to go and practice shoot. You're not allowed even to go and practice.
Yeah,
So
and it's a bit early in the morning, so if I sound like an oaf and I totally don't respond properly, it's because I'm still trying to wake up. But yeah,
no
it's
worry.
hard here. It's hard here. What are they called? The rangers, the gun rangers, right? In America and Canada, they don't have very strict laws when it comes to that. My friend's always sending me pictures of his guns that he bought, like in Canada.
Mhm.
He's got, but recently they've been trying to become a little bit more strict with those too because of the unbelievable gun violence. I mean, I hate to say it, I know
Canada?
Americans. Huh? What is it?
Is there gun violence in Canada?
in America, in America,
Oh,
right?
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I hate to say it, and I know a lot of Americans won't agree with me. It's just my opinion, but I would rather live in a society where there were no guns allowed, and I don't have to go through a metal detector when I go to school, than kind of live in a society where that's a kind of a normal thing. So that's
Being
me being
able
Australian.
to being able to shoot a gun and having proper gun discipline. I would rather guns not be available to the general public too, because people are more used to dealing with their problems here by talking rather
Yeah,
than just pulling a gun at each other and being like, ape want to kill you, agree with me, because that's the general attitude once you
yeah.
are empowered with a gun. um,
I really like how they do it in England. So in England, the police don't have guns. Did you know that?
I know, I know.
I think that's pretty cool. So like they just whack somebody and tackle them. It's very physical,
Yep,
right?
yep.
I totally
And
agree with that.
it's a lot better, and it's a better way to enforce law too.
I feel like police officers should have tasers, and if it comes down to it, obviously a SWAT team and guns for sure. But for like the general patrols, maybe they should try everything other than using a gun first, because the second you pull it out, you're likely to kill somebody, right? And
Yeah.
in Australia, it's just kind of how our society is. We don't have that many people. We have a very big continent, island country, right? But we only have about 25 million people, which is like very little. So for us, talking things through, helping people understand the consequences of their actions is probably a little bit better than just kind of the alternatives. No, it is what it is. We're talking
For
about that, yet
me,
we're playing a game where we're killing people, right?
it's just a game, you have to make the difference. I will never be the type of mom that pesters my kid for playing an online game because I also play and know what it's like. I will never be like, the game is too violent for you, don't play it, because I realize that um, it depends on how the kid is educated, and they need to be able to make the difference between a game and what's real. Also, the fact that he won't have access to guns because we live in a society that doesn't allow access to guns also helps,
Yeah,
you know? So we're going back to that discussion. It actually helps with being teen violence under control because teens are very volatile
yeah.
and you can't really control them, at least not when they're around like 15 to 18, until everything starts kind of making sense for them.
Yeah, it really
It can
depends
get
on.
tricky.
I think it really depends on parenting and
Upbringing, yeah.
the
On a
relationships that
side
parents have with
note,
their children.
don't these guys look like Master Chief from Halo? The guys with the mask.
I never played Halo. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Never played Halo ever.
Wow, this
Oh
guy.
man, do you have him? It,
Stand by. We got this.
I'm gonna snipe the
Thank you.
robot. You resurrect him.
I'm
I'm
gonna die.
shooting the one behind you. Don't worry, I'll come back there.
I'm up. I'm up. I've got my shield up.
You guys okay?
Just okay. Just. No, I'm not okay anymore.
Okay, I'm
I'm
seeing
coming.
the. Okay,
Uh,
I'm coming.
Let me try to get a
covering,
second wind instead of that.
covering.
If there's an option for second wind because the res takes too long, just give me that option. I'll take that one.
All right. Well, try to kill.
I feel like I hate to say it, but I feel like um, the education system we have in New Zealand and in Australia, I feel like tends to be a lot better than in other places. I feel like, and hence this is probably why we do have gangs and we do have a lot of people that fall through the cracks. But it's not as bad as in some other countries. Um,
Well,
I
I
think
have seen a few people. I'm not sure if they were popular or whatnot, but I have seen a few people in Australian schools where they're like, you know, You just called me him or her. While I'd like to be referred to as Zim and Zem, like instead of
Right.
him and
Well,
them.
it's a that's a very difficult topic. It's to do with political correctness in Australia too. Basically, our approach to everyone is, people, as long as they're not doing anything illegal that's against the law, people can identify and choose to live their lives pretty much in any way, shape, or form
Yeah,
that they want to.
absolutely. But I'm unless you have on an online session where they have
Yeah,
actually put their identification thing, they mentioned it there. Like him, her, Zimzer, whatever. But
right.
you know, at an offline thing where I don't know, I'm just on the street and try to talk to you. And you're like,
Yeah,
did you just assume my gender? I No, I didn't assume your gender. I just, used what's the most appropriate.
yeah,
Uh, I honestly don't care what you have in your pants.
yeah. I agree with
Absolutely
you.
weird that they refer to straight. I mean, I'm not even fully straight, but that's just me. It is absolutely mind-boggling that they refer to straight people as cis. Why can't you
No,
just call me cis?
cis,
You know?
because
Yeah,
you.
Sis,
cisgender,
No, they
the
cisgender.
don't refer
hell?
to you. Don't
Why
they don't
am I?
refer to
Why
no.
am I cis? I'm straight. You know, I'm
No,
straight.
no, you're
It,
not. That's not what they refer to as cis.
I don't
Cis
get it.
means
It's
you
weird.
identify as a guy or a girl. That's cisgender thing. That
Okay,
doesn't
I'm
mean straight.
definitely somewhere in between, but that's not something
Then
like
you're
it's
not a
my
cis.
business. You know, it's my business. It shouldn't be everybody else's business, first of all.
Yeah,
And
like I don't.
secondly, why should I call someone cisgender when they're identifying as what they were born into?
No,
Why can't
So
I just call them female or male? It's just say it like it is. It's weird.
I think it's a good topic. Yeah, look, it's very confusing. When I grew up, we basically just had guys and girls, and there were some people that were gay and lesbian, right? But now there's a very very big new movement of gender
The thing
disassociation and
is,
association and
people think that when you're talking to them, using him, her. I think they
pronouns. Yeah,
pronouns, yeah. They think about how they identify, or their sexual orientation. To be honest, most of the times, people get confused between sex and gender. What I care is really what chromosomes you have, really. All that. If you have XY, you're XY. If you have XX, you're XX. That's it. You're a guy well, not a guy or a woman, but like XX versus XY. There is no XW, or there's no X alpha. It's just two types of chromosome, and there is indeed, hermaphrodites, which are a combination of those, but still, um, the thing with that is one of the chromosome is more dominant than the other. So even if you're a herm, you're still your body still has one chromosome over the other as a dominant
Someone
chromosome.
wants to identify as an Apache helicopter. I have no problem with that. But I still don't understand, and
How
it
is that
baffles me.
relevant?
The cisgender thing really baffles me because why can't you just
Cisgender,
call it like what it is?
cisgender basically means you're not a person um, who is among
Doesn't
the
identify
extra.
as something else.
Extra, yeah. It's basically identifying something new. Um, you're using the old terms. It's like how there are a bunch of people who cut their left ears,
Okay,
and you don't cut your left ear, and therefore you're a non-left ear cutter.
I yeah, it's like if it's like my left ear's itching and scratching with my right arm over the head. You know, it's makes it complicated for no reason whatsoever. I mean, I don't know
You want to know my
who's meant
honest
to be
opinion?
pleased with this, but I'm weirded out by it, honestly.
My honest opinion about this is too much comfort brings, these kind of arguments.
Hey, you guys, you left me behind.
Oh
Oh,
no, the door
shite.
closed.
And I'm out
I'm
of
here.
ammo.
I'm here. What are we shooting?
Some guy with a.
Oh, this guy. It's okay. We'll freeze him.
I
He's
mean,
dead.
it's complicated. It's complicated. I guess
Yes.
if you live in a very diversified society and not a homogeneous society, then those are very valid arguments and discussions. I mean, if you live in like North Korea, obviously they probably wouldn't be, right?
They don't care.
I don't think hermaphrodite or whatever you define yourself. You
No,
get a bullet to the head
hermaphrodites
either way.
are a medical thing. There are people with two organs. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's not the. How did that guy
Still
get there?
don't make a difference between being
Yeah.
womanly and being gay. To them, men that are gay are womanly. They don't. There's no way around it. They're not like your identity is gay because you like men, but you're still a man. Your identity is gay, and you feel like you're gay because you're actually wanting to be a woman. That's how they see it, and this is part of their culture, and it's how it's stayed. I know for a fact that in Japan that's the general consensus, which is not true. I mean, I know a lot of gay people that have nothing to do with identifying as a woman. That's being
Yeah,
trans.
yeah.
I can
It's
totally
actually
understand that. And
that's
but for people that might be watching this, like, don't judge us too hard. I live in a country that just, I don't know, got rid of communism 20 years ago. Let's put it like that, or something like that. So we're still trying to understand all of the change. Um, I actually support the LGBT movement. Um, like I
yeah.
said, I'm
So
not
do
fully
I.
normal myself, but I still have some issues with some things, and it
Listen,
seems,
supporting the LGBT
you
movement
know,
doesn't mean
sometimes it just
um
gets ridiculous because
I
they stumble on political correctness, and instead of focusing on what the main issue is, which would be to just be inclusive of people and like supportive on their choices and
we're
not.
on the wrong
I mean,
path.
who am I to judge?
Yeah,
Other
no.
side, man. Other side.
Yeah, we're on the wrong side. So I totally, like I said, I'm also pro LGBT.
Guys, okay.
Problem is, being pro doesn't mean you're free of people judging you. They will find a way to judge you, and that's unfortunate. Because when I'm talking to a person, I genuinely, wholeheartedly don't care about what they have in between their legs. You telling me like I am gay or I am bi or I am pansexual, deep fryer sexual, I don't care. I genuinely don't care what you find attractive, as I'm not in that market. So what you're giving me information is just, you know, irrelevant information. So when you say you identify as a potato peeler, good, do it. Are you guys coming?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know which way I'm going. I'm a bit lost.
I almost got hit by a train just now, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
we're
Downstairs,
on the
Uh,
train
jump
tracks.
downstairs,
yeah.
downstairs.
We're on the train tracks.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever you identify as, I support it. Do what you want, unless it requires me to basically be a
Both in your
sidekick.
sexuality, yeah.
No, yeah, or be a part of your, bedroom practice. I don't care.
I just need to
What?
buy some ammo. One sec.
Same here. I'm buying ammo.
Well, too late. The badass wants to talk to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he identifies as a badass.
Ooh.
I was
Who's
just going to
shooting?
say that there is a movement at the moment where people are deliberately suppressing other people's opinions and thoughts, and I'm definitely against that. And people are pushing agendas
Oh,
which which might not be there in society too. Like the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, and people just don't seem to understand. It's the whole Black lives and Asian lives matter. I feel like I feel
Smatterman?
like I feel like
Well,
if you were to say all lives matter and every
that
life is
that's a
valuable.
that's a that is a protest against their protest. You, you don't have to state the obvious. What they're doing is fighting against a systematic. And honestly, I was on the same impression as well. Like, okay, all lives matter, but really, um, what they have, the systematic racism they have in the US, and I'm genuine about this. What they have in the US is really um is really disappointing, to say that we're in the 21st century and there's still prejudice at this point in time. I know about what's going on. I'm not blind. I know there are looters that are using the BLM
Movement as an
movement.
excuse.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are using the movement as an excuse, but the movement
The
itself, as far
racist is
as
the racism is real though. I've seen a lot of nasty stuff happening there, and like they even like, I know that there was some fire exchange and they shot a 7-year-old in a car, and like
It,
who
it's
does that? Just because
it's it's
who does that?
it's very hard to judge. I feel like those movements are specifically tailored, and there should be an emphasis, right? They're specifically tailored for America and not for the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like what ends up happening is people just assume Black Lives Matter and Asian Lives Matter is a theme for the whole planet, right? I mean, what happens in America should stay in
well, to be
America, and there,
honest, the Asian Lives Matter thing is honestly needs to be reflected in China, because I've seen a lot of
Yep.
things about Chinese people being straightforward racist towards black people. So I think there that they need to point that out. Like, I love Asians. I wish I was an Asian and had double
You
eyelids like they
partly
do.
are.
Well, I
Genetically speaking, you are
genetically,
partly
1% of my genetics might be Asian, but I don't
more
look
than
like one.
mine.
You've got the color right.
Uh,
When I go
is it
there, they
this?
say, "Why you so tan?"
That's racist, man.
Against what? It's my color.
Against yourself.
I'm talking
Oh
about
my
my
god, I
color
was
here.
shooting grass. Sorry, grass.
oh good, oh good.
It was just your left ass cheek, man. Sorry.
But yeah, I strongly think that those movements, and the problem is like when I go on these kind of language learning websites, I see like Japanese people saying, oh, Asian lives matter. Why are people racist against Asians, inferring that all people are racist against all Asians everywhere on the planet, and that's very disturbing for me because there is no issues. Like I feel like there is no issues in Australia when it comes to that. We don't have that. We don't even really have any issues with people will disagree with me, but I really don't think in comparison to America and some places we really have any of these sort of serious issues that they have in the US, right? We're not the same people, even though we speak English, right? People get the impression that all Western society is the same. It's really not, right? We're very different people
Definitely
with
not.
different education and different cultures, and I actually find that very offensive, being labeled like that, because there's nothing
Yep,
to do with me or my
yep,
people, right?
yep.
Australian people, Aussie people. So I just wanted to point that out, and I do
I mean,
appreciate people
Australia
fighting for their
has a
freedoms.
really interesting history.
History, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys know
because
We
that
do have.
my best online friend is from Australia?
oh, we didn't. Well,
Did I
I
ever
knew, but
tell you
Crest
guys?
didn't.
He's
Uh,
he's I think he's in his 80s now. Honestly,
And he is LGBTQ, isn't he?
he is trans. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
trans,
there you go. So we
but he's in
are
his 80s.
we in fact
Uh,
I think you've told me about the time when you were really supportive of him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's gone through the hormone treatment and everything. I don't know how he's holding up right now because you
Okay,
can
so
imagine with age.
let's see. You have this history. You have a supportive history of this LGBT movement. Someone comes and says, yeah, you married a guy, so you're it is a strawman argument. I'm not gonna deny it, but it happens when they really judge you for something really silly and ignore the fact that what the cover of the book doesn't expose what's inside. And um that's what
My point of
really
view,
grinds my.
it's a matter of how I express myself. Like, if I do feel like I am male inside but don't act on it or display this for people that don't know me to see, as in, like, if I don't dress as male or at least, I don't know, get the hormone treatment or anything like that, I cannot have the expectance of them calling me he when I'm not showing that in any way, and it's absolutely horrifying to feel offended. That would make me entitled if I were to feel offended for someone calling me a he, for someone calling me a she, not a he, because I don't display it and they see me married with a child and they assume she's a normal straight female, you
Yeah,
know.
but you don't like talk around like you don't have a label. If you had a
I
label
don't,
that.
because it's no one's business how I feel
There you
inside
go.
other than my husband. I mean, it's
Exactly.
stupid to assume that other people should be mindful of my mental state, you know, and of my own feelings, my personal feelings. It's horrible to assume that someone should, I don't know just by looking at me because they have to have a sixth sense and, I
Yeah,
don't know, read
that
it in the
is
stars or
that
something.
that really is what bothers me.
Yeah.
It's not how they feel or they portray themselves or what they identify as. It's strictly the fact that there's this emphasis on making people be bad, like, oh, uh you didn't know that I'm a cross gender
Ashamed
alpha
of yourself. Yeah,
T-Rex.
that's just horrible. No, that's being entitled. That's just being plain entitled. If someone were to tell me that, I would probably tell them it's because I don't really give a fuck about you. Enough for me to consider your sexuality, and also because I don't care about other people's sexuality, because I already have someone to care about. So I
Yeah,
don't care.
so yeah,
Be whatever you want.
that's exactly what it is, like.
Be a bird, be a plane, be a fork. I don't care. Just go and be. Leave me alone, you know.
Yeah,
I just
so
ask you what time it is or something, you know. If you don't want to tell me,
so
then go away, you know.
apparently there were these people complaining about how straight people uh don't don't consider trans women, I mean M to F, as a date, and they're saying like they're bigots, but you know
No, it's their right.
Oh, that's so annoying.
honestly
It's
Yeah.
their right.
honestly
It's their
like
right.
the logically speaking, we're talking strictly about um talking strictly about sexual organs. We're talking about something pointy going into something not pointy, yeah. So
That's
how do
taken
you
care of.
expect?
It's still bad because maybe you want natural
No, no,
children.
no, that
So,
usually that's not the case.
naturally occurring children. No, let's put it out there because that's the case. If I'm a guy and I'm looking for a life partner, I'm looking for a woman that I want to have kids with because my wish in life is to have kids,
Ah,
right? As a man, I want to have kids and I want to have kids with my wife. Of course, I'm not going to consider a transgender person for marriage because they're unable to provide that. No
That's
matter
you.
if they, you know, even if it looks like it's female parts and feels like it's female parts, it can't generate babies. It just can't. It's impossible for it to happen unless science has evolved in such a way to provide an actual uterus and for it to work. Then that's a different story. Then yeah, it would be bad, you know.
At the end
But
of the day,
for now, I
people.
don't think it's possible. I
Yeah,
don't think that if it were, that changes things.
I think people have choices at the end of the day who they want to be with, right?
Absolutely,
And everyone's got a very different
absolutely.
choice as to what they want and how they want it. You know,
Yeah,
it's some people like tall people, some people like short people, some people
yeah,
like
Yeah,
yeah.
ethnic people,
I
some
think
people like
it's
fat
pretty
people.
much like that, you know. Like, in my point of view, someone being,
It
homosexual
is
is
it is
like,
a choice. It's a personal
no,
choice.
it's not a
Not being gay.
choice.
Not being
Yeah.
gay. No, 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 no. The
No.
person you pick to be with. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
criteria you choose a life partner or a partner on is it's a personal choice, and no one should be able
What I'm
to have a say in it, other than you.
what I'm referring to is, homosexuality is pretty much like someone, uh, being into blonde women or, brunettes. It's not a choice. Like, I don't choose to be into blonde women or brunettes. But
It's a bit more than that. It's a bit more than that. Sorry to interrupt, because you being a person that actually likes blonde women, it may happen that you can fall in love with a brunette woman just because of the nature of her being and just because you guys are a fit. But
yeah.
when you're gay, it can't really happen that you fall in love with a woman and want to marry her because the sexual aspect of it does not work at all. Because
But
you're gay, you're not drawn into that. You don't
what
feel
if
anything.
what if she was like a really, really, really masculine woman?
I doubt that would work because at the end of the day, that's still a woman.
No, at the
What
end of
if
the day, they're still carrying an
Kras,
XX chromosome. Let's put it that way.
Kras, let's put it this way. What if like you're straight, right?
Yes.
What if he was a really really feminine guy? Would you still not consider it?
No. No
Do you understand
thanks.
now? It's the same. It's the same for them. It's like absolutely utter lack of any type of attraction. Otherwise, it would have been easier for them to just comply to being straight because society would have not judged them. They wouldn't have had issues with their parents like most of them do. So being straight is a lot easier. Why would you take the hard path? Unless it's something you just can't do and doesn't really work for you. See, but older generations still see being gay as a mental illness that they need to treat or take people into
Yeah.
camps or rehabs for, which is absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
my mom, when, when she was talking about, homosexuals, she was like, poor guys. I'm like, why? Why poor guys? Yeah, they're ill. No, they're not.
yeah, they're normal people. They just have their other
Although
preferences. Why can't you understand that? My parents are the same.
although
My
she's
parents are the
biased
same.
because of her religious views. Her
Mine don't
religion
have
does
weird
not.
religious views. Mine are just like I don't know. They just can't grasp it. They can't understand. I've tried so hard to explain. I've tried so hard to make them understand. They still don't understand. They're not against it, but they keep saying that, maybe they need some sort of treatment. And then that's where I choose to end the discussion because it really annoys me to be related to them when I hear them saying that.
Yeah, maybe we should change the subject.
Hmm.
we,
Well,
we
I think
really, I think we've
yeah,
triggered a few people.
I think it's
I
look,
don't mind.
in society, I think what needs to happen is people just need to dialogue, and I think it's
Yeah.
important to be able to discuss whatever you want to discuss, right? We do have freedom of speech for a reason, not so we don't speak freely, right? It's so we discuss things, and that's how you learn. It's part of
Yep.
learning discussion, right? Otherwise, people can't learn, or people can't come to a conclusion, right? So
It's just everything is on how you view things, really. And you know, basically talking about it just is just communicating your point of view on something. And most of the time, for people gather in groups, you know. So if our opinions match, we gather in a group because we have things in common and we have pretty much the same opinions on things.
Yep.
So
I pretty yeah.
it's kind of how it goes.
For me, sort of my take on it is, as long as it doesn't affect me in a negative way, then I really don't care. And as long as
Hmm.
people respect my views, which, what's starting to happen in society these days is people are starting to exclude traditional views. Like, I like traditional views. I like, girlfriend and one day a family and kids, right? But people are starting to exclude the norm or the old norm, as per se, and they're kind of punishing people for thinking or arguing or believing a certain way. It even comes with politics, right? Remember, like, some people like Trump, some people don't like Trump, and suddenly associating people that like Trump as being racists and bigots, and I mean,
Yep.
stuff
Yep.
like that. I find that very offensive. I find that offensive from a perspective of,
Oh, guys,
we
guys,
have.
come here, come here, come here.
Okay, where we go?
Ah, you just missed. Look, they're shooting the ion laser.
Oh, I missed it. I'm in the
I
office.
missed it.
From my
There's a
perspective,
hole.
it's,
Yep.
yeah, hole in the planet. Like, I'm not in a communist suppressive North Korean country. I want to have my freedoms to be me, and I don't want to be judged, right? Like, if people want to live in a communist country, then they can make one.
Well, basically, people need to
They can
understand
try.
that. People need to understand that the freedom, like each other's freedom, um, the line is drawn when your freedom limits the freedom of others. So when you are okay with what you do, so like you're straight and you mind your own
Look at this
business,
picture. Sorry.
but what?
Is this Tiny Tina? Or am I wrong?
No, it's not.
I guess they use the
Um,
same face model
yeah,
shape-wise.
pretty much. So, um, if you don't go around and say LGBT bad way, no. So, if you have your opinion and you keep it to yourself and you just act upon how it is, but you're not selective. That's, I think, the more important part is, think of it like this: if you had a job offer and you are hiring someone and you had to choose between a straight person and a transsexual person, or a pansexual, whatever, you know those terms.
Going, guys? What are we
Where we
doing
going?
here?
Yeah, we were supposed
I
to
have no
gather
idea.
some logs from here. I thought you guys were looking for it too, but
I'm just shooting everything that moves.
so
Oh, Jack is doing
if you
something.
don't do something specifically, as in like, I'd rather have the straight guy because he's straight, then there's the
Have
problem.
the gay guy because he's gay, or I'd rather have the trans guy because he's
Yeah,
trans. That's
basically.
not the criteria that you should hire people on. You should hire people on their ability and skill, pretty much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
with corporate laws nowadays, sometimes they're required to hire um only LGBT people so that it looks good.
No, they have
That's
to have
capitalism
a
for
high
you.
number. They have to have a high so a percentage of their employees must be under some criteria. It also
Yeah,
applies
yeah,
for
yeah.
people with different
Disabilities, I think.
abilities. Yep.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I know the I know the lingo for it.
I don't have
uh,
time for the lingo right now because I'm sniping. I'm sorry.
what?
I was sniping something.
Lol. Reminds me of something back in the day when Rofl, like rolling on the floor laughing. When that was popular,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was making a typo, and I would usually go and say like Rolf, and people would ask me like, what the heck is a
Who is
laughing
Rolf?
floor? Rolling on a laughing floor.
I would like to do that. I'm wondering how high do you need to be? Even though I've never been high in my life. Honestly.
Hi.
How high would you need to be to think that the floor is laughing? Should be
Unfortunately, drugs are still both bad and illegal, so we'll never know.
to me that's not unfortunate. I'm glad that they are illegal. I'm
Yeah.
not.
No, that's not the
That's another
unfortunate part.
discussion.
The unfortunate part is the fact that they're bad.
Yeah, bad or illegal, I'd rather keep them as far away from me as possible because that's not something I'm willing to ever try.
You Crass, use your rocket launcher on this guy.
I wish I could. I can't get
It
any ammo. I've been waiting
almost
to get
died.
ammo for a long time. I need a
He's
It
dead.
medic.
died.
No rockets drop. It's so annoying in this game. Where are the rockets? The rockets!
They're supposed to
Give
be
me the
rare.
rockets!
They're supposed to be rare.
Supposed to be rare. I like my rockets well done, okay?
Oh yeah, that's something that really triggers me. People judging me for eating well done meat. Like there are
It's
traditional
pretty bad.
foods in Turkey that is supposed to be well done. Like I don't know if you've ever had kawarma.
Is that like shawarma, but with a
No,
K?
No.
Kawarma.
Yeah.
No, what is it?
It's basically meat cubes, like tiny meat cubes that are well done. That's it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, those ones you need to cook them through. Obviously, you shouldn't have. Yeah, of course. I mean, but like a steak, like if you were to order a steak, don't get me wrong. I think
Doesn't. He
well
only
done
has
is
the well done steak.
so this my family is like that too. My mom loves everything well done, and that's fine. That's what she enjoys. I
I
personally
have it.
like medium.
Yeah, I have it rare and he has it well done. I never
Oh, I
judged
can't
him
eat
for
rare.
having it well done, but I love rare things and I love
I'm
like
a
things that
savage
are
like
almost
that.
raw.
I'm a
Yeah,
savage like
I
that.
I sometimes when you portion meat,
Yep.
like I sometimes use my hands to do that. Like legitly there are ways to portion meat that I got taught by my great grandparents in which you have to use a knife very little. So I really like meat, I guess. I'm a very pro
Yeah,
meat person.
I'm kind of the opposite in the respect where if I could
Most
be a vegetarian, I probably would be a vegetarian, simply because even though meat, the way they season it, makes it taste good, it's just it you can't get away from the fact that some animal has suffered in a really bad way for us to eat something, right? But it's so difficult
it
to change the habits
is.
of
No, no,
eating
no.
meat.
So the argument
why you
isn't
have to not
that.
waste it.
Well, that's the point. You have to not waste it.
Like you
Uh,
can make out of a chicken you can make about 5 to 8 meals if you know how to cook.
yeah,
Right? So you can have not 5 to 8 portions, 5 to 8 meals.
yeah.
As in, like,
It's a
three
lot.
people can eat 5 to 8 times. You just need to know how to cook and what parts to use and where.
Get ammo,
Uh,
crass.
this is why I'm
I
saying
did.
you pretty much need to not make a mockery of the meat you buy and buy like a crazy asshole and not consider the fact. Whenever I buy chicken wings, I'm like, oh my god, how many chicken did die for this? Because like you get packs with 12 chicken wings and you're like, so, you
I
know,
mean,
six
heal up.
animals died here.
Just a point of note while we're playing the game, they've really designed this game quite well. It looks beautiful. I really like this
Yeah,
area.
it
It's really
does.
nice.
Is,
It
isn't it?
does. So, regarding the chicken and the animals dying, I'll tell you the following. I am against wasting meat and these really bad practices where animals are in really nasty condition. However, as long as there is a single wild animal eating another animal to survive, I'll consider it a natural thing. Our
For
bodies
one,
are capable of digesting meat. Our bodies are capable of it. It's like we don't need any modification to our body to be able to digest meat.
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, I feel like maybe going forward, maybe we will have better substitutes for meats long term. I don't know what they will be or
Well,
what they will
the
look like.
thing is, our body, our biological being, requires protein, and if protein is how should I put it?
you
If
realize how many vegans will like curse at us for
No, no,
this.
vegans will get
I understand.
upset,
I don't care
you
though.
know,
I
they're
mhm.
go on.
I understand the point. I understand the point where you're saying that our body needs protein. All I'm saying is maybe in the future we'll have, like we do now currently, from soybeans and other things, right? We currently have the ability to be vegetarian and to lower our carbon footprint. One, two,
They
in the
Yeah, in
future,
Australia maybe.
all I'm saying is in the future maybe we'll even have, like, I don't know, meat that's kind of produced in a way that's not through killing, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Like maybe,
I'm not
Yep,
against I'm not
it's on its way.
against,
That's on its way. They're making lab meat as
manufactured
we speak.
yeah,
meat. Yeah, I'm not against that. What I am
I'm not
against
against it either.
is, vegans expecting every country in the world to be able to afford vegan food because, people need
It's very
protein and
expensive. It's really very expensive here. What I can buy, I can buy like I think 4 or 5 chickens for one vegan meal. So that's not feasible
here
for us at all.
here is a question though. I mean, let's say Europe, right? Europe is generally a very fertile sort of place,
Yes,
right?
it
There's a
is.
lot of,
It is.
technically, if the agriculture was there, you guys could easily sustain, and if the focus was there, you guys could easily sustain more vegetables and fruits, right?
Listen, I wouldn't mind growing, hunting, growing my own meat and hunting for it because I know how to portion it and I know how to do things so that a lot less. You slaughter a lot less animals. Like you have your own chickens and you use eggs, and from time to time you cut a chicken and have that, and then you have like a pig and you grow it throughout the year, and at the end of the year you have that, and then you'll have that meat for 6 months because that's how long it can last from one single pig. So you've been slaughtering like what? Um, let's say about 20 chickens and one pig a year, which is reasonable compared to what you buy from stores. Because when you buy from stores, you buy a lot more meat. Like it's fact. It would be
Yeah.
a lot better for everybody. But like for now, we live in an apartment building. I can't keep any type of animals or do any type of um, thing like growing my own food or animals. So
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like maybe, maybe in the future when we had better alternatives, maybe humanity should move towards that. Because
oh, absolutely, I agree to
yeah,
it.
definitely.
we
I mean,
have,
if there were lab grown meat for sale and it were okay for the human body, it doesn't cause cancer or things like that, like it doesn't harm. In the long run, I would be all for it. I
Yeah,
would want to
there
eat
is
like
another thing about soy is that a lot of soybean
soybeans.
soil
Yeah,
a lot of soy can cause cancer. There has been a
yeah.
few.
It
Um,
depends
yeah,
on how
true.
it's grown.
And
but
impotency and some other things too.
Yep, yep, true.
so how do we
I'm
fight these
even very
guys?
mind. I like cooking Asian foods a lot, but I always read on what type of even what type of soy sauce I'm getting. I'm
Here's a
reading
question.
about it first.
Here's a question. What is MSG? Because it's in a lot of Asian food and it tastes really weird.
Oh, It's monoglutamate. It's sodium monoglutamate, and it's what makes your taste buds want more. Like basically, it's a drug for your
Is
tongue.
that umami?
It's umami. Yeah, it's umami.
Uh,
Tastes horrible. I don't.
Basically,
Um,
you could put
it tastes
umami on
horrible on its
sand.
own. It
You
tastes
could put
horrible on its own, but you need
yeah.
to know the amount that you need to put in your food, and you use it like salting things. You use it,
Seasoning,
let's
yeah.
say, yeah, seasoning. Um, and then it makes any food tasty. You could be having plain rice. If you're gonna put that on it, it's gonna be tasty rice that you're gonna enjoy eating.
But
It
it's
can
not
help
healthy,
very
right?
much in diets. It's not unhealthy. It depends on how it's been processed. Do you know how they used to make umami in the past
Ugh.
and how it was discovered? Pretty much, they were putting in earthen earthen pots. Is that how they're
Clay
called?
pots.
Pottery? Clay pots? Yeah, they would put fish.
Oh shit! They pushed me off.
They would put fish with water and they would let it rot until it turned into, liquid. They would keep it for 2 to 6 weeks in the sun, and then that would produce an oil on top. And that oil would be taken out, and that oil would be natural occurring umami. And Romans would use it when um the resources were scarce for them, and they needed to make plain foods taste good for rich people that are no longer that rich.
Mhm.
And they found out because they found a few pots sealed at the bottom of the ocean because a trader's boat sank back in the Roman Empire time. So that's how they found out that they were actually trading in umami. Yeah, pretty
Interesting. Yeah, I
interesting
always
and gross.
yeah always when I go to like a Chinese restaurant or whatever, I always stick to no MSG. I don't.
Yep.
I don't trust that for some reason. I don't know why it is. But
That's good. That's good
Well,
that
it
you guys
tricks you.
have
You
such a
could be
thing.
eating food gone bad and
What the heck is
you'd not
this?
even know because it.
What am I shooting? A pumpkin?
Where? Where?
I think I've got another pumpkin weapon like Raz's.
I really like the rocket launchers. Some of my favorite thing in the game: grenade launchers, rocket launchers for sure. Suits my class too. Lasers are cool too. I like them. Those are my three.
Oh my god. You guys made me hungry.
Yeah.
Now I wanna eat something. Hmm.
And
Maybe
whenever
in half an
Raz.
hour. Yeah, maybe in half an hour we can take, or we can end the session maybe in half an hour because I'll have to do some things, but we still have half an hour, which is good, and we can
It's
eat
not
something,
okay.
which
Like I
is
can't eat at this hour. It's like what is
not
it, like
healthy.
2, 3 a.m. I don't even know.
Not
Yeah,
healthy for sure.
that would keep me up all night because I need to stay about 5 or 6 hours without eating before going to bed because otherwise I don't feel well.
Yeah,
So
that
I'd
makes
rather
sense.
not.
Do any of you guys do you guys have a Costco in Europe?
No, we don't.
Nope.
Uh,
We don't.
so
What
many people.
exactly is Costco?
Well, so many people rave about Costco, right? It's an American franchise that they have, which is like a giant
Okay.
warehouse that sells products in bulk. So instead of
Okay.
buying one
Yeah,
bottle, you
we've
get
got
a case of
Metro.
bottles.
Metro and Selgros, that's what we have for that.
Similar, not quite like Aldi, but like some, like kind of in bulks. The problem is like
Aldi is like Lidl. It's not with in bulk selling here.
the problem
You
is when
guys
you.
coming?
Oh, are we going
Yeah,
that way?
yeah, yeah.
Hang on one sec. Pressing the button. Problem is when I went there, I legitimately didn't like any of the products, and worst of all, even the products that they kind of packaged and prepared on site. Like if you read the labels, like they have like all these colors, additives, preservatives. I'm like, well, they're making the bread fresh, right? The bakery is right there. How how are they injecting all these colors, additives, and preservatives when the bakery is right there, right?
In,
Like you'd think it'd be a natural product. Like it's so bizarre, and people just buy it, and they don't even question it. Like people just love it and buy it, and they just, one thing I don't like about society these days is people genuinely don't want to think. They want to assume, and they just go off what other people are doing, like the sheep mentality. It's happening with products today where people are just buying, like, every year they get a new phone, right? I really don't like that. I've got some friends, well, actually, they're not really my friends, they're my friends' friends, but every year they're bragging about, oh, I got the new S20, S20, whatever the hell it is, 22 or whatever they have now, right? I'm like,
Getting a new phone every year too, but usually it's because it's no longer working properly. For some reason, my phones get really messed up, like they demagnetize or something. I don't know what I do or what I don't do. I don't really use internet on my phone almost at all. I don't like it. I have my computer for internet. I'm one of those people that uses the phone for what a phone is supposed to be used, as in calls and text messages. That's about it. Um, but somehow it just gets wrecked. Like either the audio part stops working at all, or the
yeah,
screen
and
comes
the
undone, or something like that.
manufacturers make it so difficult to repair your phones nowadays
You're better
that
off
Apple
buying a new one
manufacturers,
because it's cheaper, you know?
they do that deliberately, I think. And another thing which I
all
really
of the
don't like with
manufacturers do it.
manufacturers.
Like Samsung made it so that it's almost impossible to change your USB port.
Yeah.
It's connected to the main board, so where you have your memory and whatnot.
Yeah, it's done
So
purposefully. Obviously,
of
it's
course,
Yeah.
purposefully. I actually really don't
Yeah.
like Samsung anymore as a company. Samsung has become
Me
literally
neither.
like Apple,
yeah,
whereas they make a lot of scummy decisions, and they push products which are downgrades from the previous years, especially their
Yeah.
televisions. I returned a television recently, one of their 8K TVs. I decided to return it because the contrast on that one was just rubbish. It was like a monitor that I bought from 7 years ago, right? It's like, how can you release such an expensive screen, it's 8K, and have such bad contrast on it, ridiculously bad contrast, right? And the colors too were very weak as well. I'm like, the laptop colors I get on my laptop screen are a little bit better than the ones on my 8K TV. What the hell's going on, right? So
Yeah.
they downgrade every year and they push it to the public. The worst example is the headphone jack, the Note 9, I think, and the, no, what is it, S10 Plus? Is that the
S10
one?
Plus does have a
S10 Plus.
headphone jack.
Yeah, those were the last two phones to have a headphone jack, and then they removed it.
God.
But they were downgrading a few years before when they removed the IR. Remember the IR blaster?
Yeah,
The
no one really
I found
used
that.
that though. I
How
did
can it?
like
I
it.
used the daily living shite out of that one. You could change television stations if you were at like a dentist's office, right? So you know how they put those stupid programs, like when you go to a dentist's office or a doctor's office, if they have a TV
Yep. Yep.
and you don't like it, you're like, screw that. You just use the hack and you just change it to whatever
Yep.
channel you want to. Airports too, and other places as well. It was very useful, and it was a really good function for your phone to have. Like, your phone is more than just a phone. I like my phone
It,
to be more than just a phone. I'm one of those people.
yeah,
And
so am I.
I
So,
respect that, you know. I
Press.
have no problem with that. My only problem is when people ask me to do stuff like, "Oh, you don't use WhatsApp? No, leave me alone. With you want to talk to me, I'm in front of you. Give me a call and we'll meet." You know, like I don't want to talk to you on WhatsApp for 5 hours if I can meet you. You know, I'm pretty much. I don't have Instagram. I don't understand
I don't have
Instagram.
Instagram.
neither do
There's no
I.
point in
Um,
Instagram.
I have Facebook because I keep in touch with my, you know, family that's not in this part of the country through it. But considering that we've been in touch for a very little time, I'm considering closing it soon because it's not something that brings any type of joy in my life. So,
I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I got rid of Facebook ages ago when people actually started stealing my photos. So I used to have photos not just of myself, but
I think
photos
I
of
lost a
other.
bet when I made it, honestly, because I didn't have it for a long time. I think I made it like how many years ago, Nugai? 4 years? 5 years?
Uh,
4 years?
yeah, 5 years. Why did this guy
4
close
years.
the door?
You know, the reason I got rid of it is because I mean, first of all, I don't think it's a safe platform, and I think they use it for analytics. It's for
They do.
yeah, and the second part, which I don't like, is that it doesn't really promote people talking to each other like the way MySpace used to. It's
Oh
more a
man,
very limited
MySpace.
form of kind of uh, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like what your social circle of friends likes and doesn't like, and it's kind of like isolating those circles and kind of identifying what marketing trends they have by what people type into the sort of news feed. It's very hard to explain, but it's not a program that is as benign as people would like to make it out to be. I think there's a more sinister sort of thing behind it. That's one of the reasons I don't like it. Second of all, is
That's
because it
why I
just
want to
doesn't.
close it.
Yeah, it doesn't appeal to me in any way. I used to like MySpace. MySpace was cool. It had a purpose. So you have your own space, and it's all about what music you like, what art you like, how you've designed it, and people when they go to your space, they actually see kind
You
of
know,
like the way
your
you design
style.
things. Yeah, your style, right? It says something about you. But for some
MySpace
reason,
was
people,
really cool.
yeah, for some reason, people just decided they don't like MySpace anymore, and then they don't like talking to other people outside of their social circle, and so they decided to just kind of become hermits and kind of be around people that reinforce you know 100% what they believe in and what they like, and people that
Not
are very
just
similar.
that, the utter lack of communication is mind-boggling. You
Yeah,
have friends in your list that you've never spoken to or you don't really talk to. You just like the same things and share the same things or share things from one another, and that's it. And when their birthday comes, you say happy birthday, and that's all you get from socializing with your Facebook friends,
I
pretty much.
I I also find that very disingenuous as well, telling people happy birthday if you haven't spoken to them in a year or so. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's incredibly disingenuous, right?
yeah. It is, and also it kind of weirds me out because it's like, hey, you're providing all of this data somewhere, and you're, like you said, you're in groups with other people that provide the same data, and then someone can analyze how much of this category of people like this or that, and that's
Yeah,
about it. That's the purpose of Facebook, nothing else.
yeah.
It's
It
not
is.
meant for the people using it, it's meant for the people using it. So
Yeah, but there's no thought that goes beyond installation of Facebook and talking to your friends. For many people, like many people are not very deep and they don't go into subjects in a deep way. I feel like the sad thing. My generation is Generation Y. You know, we are the biggest retards out of any generation ever, right? Like we're really bad. Like, and it's us having to come out and it's us having to say these things. Like, y- y- we're
that's
talking about
bad.
like the most
That's bad.
incompetent generation in history coming out trying to like defend everything, human rights and freedoms and intelligence and intellect. Like like it's great, it's gotten so bad, right? The newer generations, they just consume, they don't think about it. And like even when I watch YouTube videos, like people screaming like, oh my god, hey, welcome to this channel, oh my god, I'm like, what is the excitement? The guy's like
Like,
just jumping up a ladder and he's like, I just don't get it. It's just like, and people just say, "Oh, maybe you're just old." Like you're just old.
what
You don't get it.
generation am I, Nugai?
I think the same.
I'm Generation Y.
I think so. I don't know.
Well, Grass, like you said, that's sad, man. That's
It's
sad.
sad, but it's true, isn't it? Like
How do we
the
drain this
guys.
aquarium?
I remember when I was a little kid in high school, they used to tell us how bad our generation was, how
I
lazy we were,
know. You guys
how
suck. You're dumb. You don't know. You're not able to sit in one place. You're not able to learn. You're too whiny and nostalgic. Blah 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 blah. And then
yeah,
after a while, you're too shallow. You know. Like,
yeah. We're
Actually,
the
we're
generation.
millennials, Neme. We're millennials. We're not
we're
Y.
millennials. Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm
It was
Generation
still
Y.
bad. It was bad for me too. So.
So our
Uh,
generation, I mean, I think we used to listen to grunge music and stuff like that because it was kind of, it was
and
more
I'm leaning more
simplistic.
towards your generation than
Yeah.
my own, I believe, because why did this
Maybe you're just
mushroom
on the
attack me?
border. Maybe you're just on the border as far as
Well,
how
I mean,
Well,
I'm
I
in
am.
87, so
Well,
I'm an
I mean,
87 baby.
yeah,
I
right
mean,
on the
we
border. You're right
are
on the
we
Yeah,
border.
are
yeah.
kind of think about it like this, Neme. I uh, listen to 80s music. Does that make me Generation Y?
You
Actually,
know, a lot of
that makes you a
yeah.
racist because 80s music and all that stuff is for white, middle-aged men. Like stuff like that, right?
Oh my
It,
God, why do you
it's really bad.
why
Well,
why do you assume this?
even watching old films as well, like you like I noticed that like there was a couple of really cool films in the 90s and whatever, and I remember I had a girl over like ages ago, and we sat down to watch some films. And I'm like, oh, why don't we watch like this one? It's really cool, like Executive Decision. So I thought that was a really cool movie. And she's like, oh no, this movie is really old. I want to watch something that was made in the last year. And then you look at what's made in the last year, and you're like, well, there's nothing really that I like here. Like, or in the last 2 years or 3 years, it's really difficult to find like an interesting film, that has like a
I
good
know.
story and plot, and it's kind of like they will 100% refuse to they will refuse to watch anything that's kind of
Guys,
old
a
and
little help.
like sorry, I'm out of rockets. I need a vending machine. Bloody vending machines. I got bots can do it. So I think when people kind of don't want to see how things were done in the past, or they don't want to even think about it, then you know it kind of forces society to be a certain way. It doesn't reflect on past mistakes or past accomplishments, or you know what I'm saying. Same thing with technology as well. Like hang on a sec, I'll get you up. Like nobody's reflecting on the fact that we lost the microphone jack or the IR blaster. Nobody cares, right? They're just excited to buy the new phone. Ah, god damn it! I just got killed. Tense situation.
You.
I'm done here. I have got literally no ammo on any of my weapons, or except one of them, laser weapon.
What is the bad guy? Oh man.
This weapon kind of sucks, actually.
Where's the bad guy?
He's dead.
Okay.
He dead.
So where do we get ammo from?
No clue.
I don't
I
know, but
should
I'm
have
out.
sniped. I'm thinking that yeah, me too. I'm out too. Yeah, we're both gonna die.
Hold on a sec.
Thank you.
I've got my shield. Although those badasses can actually shoot through the shield. You need to use your ice skill more often because
I did, but I am dying again because
Grass
I had to
Saver.
go closer to him. I had to go closer to him. Thank you. Oh man,
Let,
it landed right on top of me.
let's
He's
finish
dead
this part
now.
off,
Here you
and
go.
then
There you
and then
go.
let's call it because I need to go. I need to go very soon. So
Right,
Yep,
well, we
yep,
need to
yep, yep.
reach the checkpoint.
yeah, let's do that.
Oh my god, my grenade went straight into that room. Do you guys see it hopping around? Yeah, it actually reached them.
Oh, he's a flamethrower guy.
I'm going to start sniping again because I think
Should.
that's why we died a lot this time because I didn't. I usually see the invisible ones through the scope, so.
I hate weapons where you have to zoom in. They don't work out for me very well. Not
As
in
long
this
as
game,
I-
anyway.
As long as I'm at a good distance so that they don't come near me while I snipe, I don't mind.
And so many bad weapons as well. Like I'm not getting
True.
anything. That's good.
Oh man, there's a frozen guy there.
The worst part is the rockets for me because I use rockets and like literally every ammo chest does not have rockets, or it would have like one at best.
Can't you like use something else as
I
that's good
do.
as a?
I do a laser, but it's not a good weapon. Like that's why I'm struggling here a little bit. I need to increase
I'm
my
wondering what I could give you.
No, it's alright. I'll find something. But I need to increase my ammo count for my rockets. If I make it 50, I think I'll be okay. With 50, I'll be fine. And I'm rationing
good.
it too. I'm not using it all the time. It's still running out.
That's bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah. But I really like it. I really like rockets.
Who's touching me? Who did that? Oh, that's you. Sorry.
What did I do?
I'm not. I was shooting you. I thought you were an enemy.
No.
I keep doing that. My character was like, "Well done, big man."
I'm
He has a
feeling
very
like my
posh
class.
British accent.
I'm feeling like my class is a very support class. Eh? I'm starting to
It
get
is.
that strong impression
Yeah.
because I'm
I
not
managed
doing that
to
much
throw a
damage.
grenade there. Oh, nice.
Jeez.
No. Oh, man.
Uh,
Yeah, second
did you
win.
get him up?
It wasn't second wind, it was me.
Thank you.
No worries. Oh, is that a chest? I thought it's ammo. Sorry, I opened the chest.
No worries.
It's right here.
What we could do as well, because I need to just make a phone call for about half an hour. If you guys wanted to, I don't know what the time
We
is.
could
Might
we could
be late,
pause
but-
the video. It's not a
Yeah.
live session.
Let's
But
do that.
it'll be half an hour though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not
No,
sure.
it's not a problem. It's an offline video. It's a video on demand. So we could pause the video, leave our characters here, and then come back
Enemy's gonna
and continue.
respawn.
Is there any place
Oh, you
we
mean
can
log
sell?
off?
Well, I don't know where's the next checkpoint where we can sell.
Where's the sniper ammo? Why no sniper ammo?
There is no sniper ammo.
No sniper ammo for me. God.
Cress, why do you keep on spawning your drones when you're
'Cause
not
I-
in the combat?
Because they heal and they give shields, and I'm low on life, so they automatically heal me. They automatically give me
Nice.
shields.
Noise. Oh
Nice.
man, we were talking about phones. I wanted to tell you about my favorite phone.
Uh-huh. What is it,
Ask me what my favorite phone, but with an Australian accent.
mate? What's your favorite phone?
It's an,
Is that
it's an
Australian?
HTC, mate.
HTC. All right.
Get
Yeah,
it?
HTC is good.
mate. No,
My
no.
first.
HTC is garbage
Oh.
now. It's HTC M8. And how? Never mind. You just completely
missed it.
ruined. Yeah,
That joke.
yeah. Like,
I killed your joke. I
Yeah.
didn't get it.
yeah. You
Keep in mind,
ruined my
Australians.
joke.
Australians won't get you a joke about mates and stuff. That's normal for us. We speak like that. Like,
Dude.
we use mate a lot. So
Coming
we,
back now.
HTC
Yeah.
mate. Yeah,
Yeah, it's an
M8, yeah.
HTC M8, but like
mate. Yeah.
it's an HTC, mate.
HTC mate. Nice. Um, I remember I used to have an HTC and HTC HD2 or something like that. I remember.
That's the old kind. That
That was a
wasn't an
good one.
Android.
I don't remember what that was. But that's ancient now. I moved from that to Samsung, to a Note 2, and then to a Note 4. And I've been with Samsung for a long time. But now with the new phones, I'm not feeling it. So I'm happy with my Note 10 Plus, and I'll probably stick to that one
You
for
don't
a
even
long
have
time.
a headphone jack though.
I don't really use the headphones as much as you'd think. Do you know how I talk on my phone, dude? Like, you would not believe it. I use my watch. I actually use the microphone on my watch on my Active 2, and I talk to people through my watch. Can you believe it? That's actually how I
Okay.
prefer talking to people now. It's bizarre, but I
Hey, it,
Ah,
genuinely
yeah.
prefer that.
if it
You're
works, it works, you know? And
It
it's better
works.
than to keep it next to your ear because of radiation and stuff.
That's
So
right. There you go.
it's
And
actually
actually,
healthier to do it like that.
they did do some type of like research, and the
Hmm.
research apparently concluded that wearing headphones and talking on the phone delivers the radiation directly into your brain. But I don't know if that's
not the
true.
headphones. The headphones don't, but holding the phone
A
near your
Bluetooth
head
device, I think.
and the
No, 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 no,
Bluetooth.
no. They said
Dude,
that the actual headphones, the electromagnetic energy travels through the phone into your ears via the headphone
dude,
cable.
so listen, what you're getting
I don't
through
know
the
if that's true.
headphone is basically the tiniest bit of electromagnetic waves from the electromagnet in the speaker. Um, that's not the problem though. The radiation that is harmful is the one that the even the word harmful, we need to take that with a grain of salt. It's not really directly harmful, but the waves, that the Wi-Fi waves and the uh, telecommunication waves, those, although proven to not have any health effect, that is what is considered to be the bad thing. So using a headphone is really not a bad thing. But if you hold the phone to your ear, which you're more likely to do than using a headphone if you don't have a headphone jack, will give you, much more exposure to those
Yep.
waves. Whether
I don't know what
those waves are bad or good.
I don't know what's true, but I do like my headphone jack and I do like my IR blaster. So Samsung, if you're listening, which I'm probably sure you're not and you don't care, but if you are listening, please bring back the headphone jack and the IR blaster. I
They
really like those
won't,
things.
man. They won't.
Think they're
Of course
gonna
they
do
won't.
that.
They don't give two craps about those sort of things.
What
They don't care
people
about that.
actually want, yeah.
They don't care
Because I'm
about
sure
that.
most people going through their devices and people that have their devices would agree that the headphone jack needs to come back. You know,
I
I
would.
doubt that the greatest majority of the buyers like the fact that there's no headphone jack. Although I've never been a fan
A
of
lot of
Samsung and I
people.
would have never bought one. Honestly, I would never buy a Samsung because I don't like their cheap look. They look cheap.
I
They
don't know.
they
Well,
look
I
weird
like
and
it.
cheap.
I like it
They look
because
plasticky,
mm,
and I used to go with Sony a lot, and now I have a Chinese phone, which is actually
uh,
a very high-end Chinese phone, but it costed like half than what a good Samsung phone would,
yep.
and it's not subpar to a great Samsung. So hardware-wise, I mean, the way it looks a lot better than a Samsung phone, and it's a lot bigger too than the latest ones. So
I usually put an aftermarket case on mine, which changes the look and the feel of the phone quite a lot. I do like the way the Samsung phones look though. I do like all the way
I
up from
hate
the.
I hate the curved screen.
oh my god, I took it. I
Took what?
took one rocket launcher, but there's a rocket launcher here.
It's all right. Would it be
Press.
possible for us to pause it for a bit because like I need to make some phone calls,
All right,
Yeah,
but
go
I will
back to the
be.
previous room. Go back to the
Yep.
previous room. Neme and I will clean this
Okay.
area,
Okay. No
and
worries.
then we'll pause the video when the time is proper.
All right. I won't be. I won't be too long, but I just have to make these calls. All right. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, um,
So getting a bit
regarding,
political now, I hate the fact that I'm using a Chinese phone because I don't support their views,
well,
their
you don't.
political views.
Let's clarify. You don't support the CCP.
I
Chinese
don't
people,
at all.
Chinese
Uh,
people are good. Trust me. Like,
have nothing against Chinese people. I have everything against communism. It was never good. It's communism is something that sounds good only on paper, maybe, but at best, it's never a good thing to have as a regime, and it's horrible to consider what those people are going through. It's it's not okay. It's not okay, and somehow the whole world ignores it and lets it,
let's not say ignore, but
you know.
nobody really has the cojones to boycott China.
Oh, they started boycotting China really badly. Don't worry about that.
When?
It's
Who?
like this year, a lot of
Who?
corporations, a lot of corporations. Honestly, it's quite a movement, but it's gonna take a while until it actually does any damage, and you know, all that considered, that's why I'm saying I'm sorry for buying a Chinese phone, because I know that they're taking everything from the people and fueling into their sick regime, you know. So whatever money would bring to their people, it's not actually sent to their people. It's actually set up to fuel their agenda. It's horrible. It's actually how communism works, after all.
I mean, coming from someone who actually lived in communism,
I
you know,
lived in communism.
Ceausescu.
That's how it usually goes. That's how it usually goes, and that's what usually happens. Uh, Very little income, very little resources go to the people. People are usually afraid, oppressed, starving, and are not allowed to say anything about it. And that's about it. Everything goes into what the regime dictates. That's life for them,
Well,
and
let's
it
go
only gets
back.
worse and worse.
Let's go
Yeah,
back. Let's not
I'm
progress
on my
yet.
way.
As soon as I'm back,
I was just looting, and now I'm next to Crass.
Kras Krasimir. I do agree with a few things, but I really don't know the extent of what, how people are, because, knowing that they're somehow, biased, or like, how should I put it, they're conditioned. It's really difficult to know whether they are actually happy or they just don't know better. But I think that's going to be the topic
Generally, I can
for.
tell you that they don't know better, but we'll discuss this
Yeah,
further if you want to.
yeah. Let's wait until Crass comes back. I'm gonna put the
Yep.
video on pause. Let's see if the button works. Right, guys, we're back. Neme also had to go, but it's gonna be me and Crass,
Yeah,
and we're gonna kick some ass.
gonna kick some butt, man. Awesome.
Some
Just like the
Mysterious.
good old days.
Yeah, good old days.
Good old days, man.
I don't even remember what we were talking about. You were on the phone for like 2 hours or something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, because it's during morning here we got some weird time zones going on. So
Did you
I
call
mean,
like Apple tech support?
no. So oh yeah, a couple of things. So I had to call a couple of people. First of all, I'm dealing with a return on my Samsung order, which has taken over 2 weeks. It's now on
Oh
its
yeah,
third
that one.
week.
Yeah, that's
They've
gonna
been
take you like for 5 weeks.
that's gonna screw me around because simply put, they don't really want to return the order. Like even though, um, you know, I have the right to return it, and it's in their policies, and I'm entitled according to them to return it, right? So I'm in the green with everything that's happening. The problem is
We
they
need to
just don't
go
want to do
back.
it.
We need to
Yeah.
go back.
Do you know what they did, dude? They sent me a brand new TV. Like instead of returning and refunding my old one, they sent me a brand new TV. And like this morning, not this morning, but a few mornings ago, somebody knocks at my door. I'm like, who's knocking my door at this time? I open up and they've got a TV and a soundbar there. I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like, oh well, you got a delivery from Samsung. They're sending you like a brand new television and soundbar. I'm like, but I returned this order. Like it's returned. They're like, oh, it's a new one. They've issued you a new one. I'm like, oh, it's fine because I'm trying to get a refund. Can you guys take it back? So I had to refuse the order, right? And I called up Samsung. I'm like, what's going on? How many tickets did we go through? And I spoke to your manager and, we're returning this order. Why are you guys sending me a new one? I really don't understand what's happening, right? And they're like, oh, I'm really sorry. There was an issue with the system, something. And they said, oh, there's a further issue in the system. We can't instantly issue you a refund, even though the product, the one that you refunded has gone back to the warehouse, our warehouse now. I'm like, it's not my problem that you guys have an issue with the system. You guys are Samsung. This is not a startup company, right? And I didn't order a McDonald's hamburger to get like very bad service like this, right? It's your responsibility to give me the money within a period of time. And they said, oh, well, it's going to be at least 30 days until you get your money back. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, Jesus
30
Christ.
days. And so anyway, and it's a process of basically their teams don't communicate. So what they do in Australia, which is kind of really scummy, is they use Filipino and Indian tech support people overseas. And so when something goes wrong, the people in Australia can't get blamed. Now, another thing is tech support people overseas have absolutely no power. So they have to contact the Samsung head office in Sydney. However, the Samsung head office rarely replies, if at all, ever replies to any of their tickets. As far as they're concerned, for the most part, whatever happens, and unless it's something really serious, right? Then they're not going to do anything about it. And that's why I've kind of fallen through the cracks. I know a lot of people have got good experiences with Samsung, but if you read the reviews on Google, you'll see that there's a lot of people who have had some very bad experiences. And unfortunately, I'm one of them. And I'm trying to get out of the Samsung ecosystem now for good. Like, I don't want to buy any more Samsung products.
Not
because
even
I've come
phones,
to
huh?
not even phones. I've come to the realization that, first of all, Samsung isn't what it used to be as a company. Oh, I nearly killed this guy. Hang on one sec.
Is that a portable cloaking device?
Yeah, I made it out of stalker glands for Jack.
I'll just wait until the dialogue finishes.
Whoops.
Why am I not surprised?
Man, I've got a mild case of the shivers. Thanks for rubbing it in. Y'all are jerks.
Maybe he has COVID.
Great. With all the scientists rescued, we can help you get to the eye laser. I'll meet you back at Jack's.
Laser. So what I was going to say is Samsung is not the company that it used to be. It's now become a multi-billion-dollar company, like I guess like Apple, right? Yeah, like Apple.
The Vault Hunter shouldn't even have to be saving your asses right now, just so you can
So,
lower the shields. No
customer
thanks.
care.
Zapadon might have a weaker
One
signal
sec.
jammer on her person.
Hang on.
She could have another mole in Helios.
You got something chasing you,
Or
dude.
she probably just
What the heck?
manually rewired the security system. Wait.
Oh, me too.
Another traitor on Helios? That's only one possibility. Jack, you there?
God. So what I was going to say is that they don't really care about the customers anymore at all. I mean, it's proven in the fact that they're using a Filipino help desk service, and the Filipino people overseas, they don't have any power to do anything. They've got limited power, and if something goes wrong or if something needs to happen urgently, they don't care. They just simply don't care. It's as simple as that. And it happens. It's happening with a lot of companies, and they void responsibility too, because if they do something wrong within Australia, they're liable. People can sue them, right? And in Australia we have laws, right, and very detailed laws, and they can't get away from it. So what they do is they use overseas help desks, and they just say, you know what, if somebody does something wrong overseas, we'll just fire them. We'll just say, oh yeah, that agent did something wrong. We're really, really sorry. We fired them. It's cheap labor. They don't care. It's no big deal, right? The Filipino people basically work for peanuts over there, and so do the Indians, right? They don't have to pay them full wages or even half wages. They pay them like some very small amount. And And those agents, they won't deal with you as well. If you have a serious problem, what they'll do is they'll put you on hold, and then they'll never get back to you. Because if they hang up the phone, it goes against their rating, so they just don't want to deal with it. So they literally just put you on hold for like 2 hours, and they just forget about you. And if you complain about them, you can't identify them. Right? There's no way to really identify them because they don't log the reference until the end of the call. So all of this dodgy shit, right? I hate to say it in that way, but it's really made me lose a lot of faith in Samsung and that company. And then you have the other side of it where they're downgrading products from, like televisions like the Q8FN and Q9FN, which are amazing televisions, to, the Neo model, which they did a lot of false advertising for, how it's a bloom-free
What do you mean
television.
false advertisement?
Well, they advertised that it's basically a flawless television that doesn't have any blooming, right, on the set. It was OLED-like, which is what they said about the Neo QLEDs. And when you looked at my television, which was the 8K, this year's model Neo 8K TV, it had a lot of blooming. It had massive amounts of blooming. And at nighttime, you see like this big bloom, especially in subtitles and other things. It's such a lie. Not to mention that the colors, they downgraded the colors from the previous year. So the Q8FN had like a massive color gamut. It was a beautiful screen, huge contrast, right? Big contrast ratio. This year's screen have got the contrast ratio of like a 5-year-old gaming monitor. No joke. And they don't have white color gamuts anymore. They just have 8K, which is very gimmicky, right? As a television. They also don't allow certain models into our country. Like we can't get the European QN95A in Australia, and in America, you can only get that one in Europe. It's a cheaper display that is better than the higher end 8K models, which they're pushing on our markets because they know we can afford it. We have the money, whereas the Europeans might not have the money to consistently buy those models. So they're not really giving everyone like the models that they release, like the fair amount of models and the sets that might be more attuned to their needs, if that makes sense. So it's just a giant marketing sort of thing. And then you go on to the phones. The phones have been downgraded as well. We're getting features we don't need, and I don't think anyone needs a 120 hertz display telephone. It's the most idiotic thing I could think of, right? It's stupid. Why don't you bring back headphones, which everyone wants, and why don't you bring back IR blasters, which some of us want, but it's very useful, and there's no reason to not have it. It's a very small microchip, right? Or a very small chip.
It's still
Instead, you're
something
bringing
extra.
Yeah. What's happening?
It's still something extra. Right.
Yeah.
I think we should call it.
All right.
We'll catch up next time with Neme and Raz. I don't think we should go
Sounds
too
great.
far.
Sounds great.
Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Kras, Neme, for joining. She's not here now.
And
but...
you. And you for hosting.
Yep. I'll see you guys around. Cheers.